Hey, this is Jim. It is 7:14 p.m. in California on January the 29th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So I haven't posted a public video in a long time. That's because there's really been nothing to report. In my previous video that I posted publicly, I said that we had a nice looking zone of strength ahead. And as long as Adam Aron didn't crush the stock again, I was hopeful we could see a move back up to that $13.10 hidden retest level. So what ended up happening then is the stock did start to move up really nicely into the slowly uptrending higher highs, higher lows into this zone of strength. And then sure enough, right as it started to break out above this level right here, and also more importantly, probe a trigger level in a debt conversion, Adam Aron once again stepped in, crushed the stock with a deal with Goldman, and here we are posting lower lows again today. So good opportunity to go back and actually look at how many times the stock has been stopped dead in its tracks because of our fearless leader. So if we start all the way back here with the CRS, the disastrous CRS conversion and then draconian reverse split, we saw the big move down. The stock regains itself and starts to stabilize here, consolidate, starts to move up. Adam Aron dilutes again. Stock gets crushed severely, starts to try to rally again here. Aron dilutes again. And now notice the on-balance volume getting really crushed in this move down over multiple dilutions, which makes sense. And then I'm going to show you how that contrasts with some interesting stuff that's going on right now. This is the Roaring Kitty pump right here with this big move up in on-balance volume to peak out at 1.184 billion. Stock moves back down. Stock starts to consolidate again and move up nicely here in July. We had an impressive zone of strength predicted in July, and Adam Aron pre-announces for no reason, absolutely for no reason, destroys the momentum again. Stock starts to move lower, and then this is my last video was posted months ago, and then this is the nice move up right into our zone of strength. And then again, Adam Aron destroys the stock and moves down. Now, if you guys remember, I said the most important thing in my mind was to watch on-balance volume. Technically, or usually technical indicators lead price, no exception with on-balance volume. So it was important, in my opinion, to have everyone who cares about monitoring the stock day by day to take a look at a couple important levels in on-balance volume. The first hurdle was this high right here from July the 16th, 967 million in on-balance volume. And so I had put this is my original chart, my original notes from that last video we posted. I said that if we could post 968 million plus, we can see upside acceleration both in on-balance volume and the stock price. And then the real biggie would have been this 1.051 billion. Well, look what happens when Adam Aron comes in and stops the stock during this breakout here and cuts his deal with Goldman. Not only had the stock moved above our 968 million bogey on balance volume, but the peak right into that day that Aron did that was 1 billion 30 million. Look, against our 1 billion 51 million breakout. And so also, if you guys want to just think in terms of if this on balance volume, this yellow line, was a price line, how bullish that would look. And how it would bring buyers in and look like a breakout. And again, you can see on balance volume first started to break out right around Thanksgiving. So here's 983 million, right? So it already had moved above our 968 bogey. And look at where price was. See, price hadn't broken out yet. So like I said, I like to focus on technical indicators leading price, the upside and the downside, they tend to tip their hand, and everything looked great. So just, there's no other way to look at this in my mind, at least, other than that, we have somebody that's just not working in the best interest of the shareholders. Here's the other thing I want to show you that's hopeful as we move into another predicted zone of strength here in February. We still have multiple sessions of kind of rattling, some zones of strength, some zones of weakness. We have this $2.65 hidden retest sitting down here, so wouldn't be shocked if that's hit prior to this nice zone of strength in February that the model's flagging. I'm not going to give dates on this, but you can see I put it on the chart. The other thing is there have been so many algorithms set in motion with all of the extra shares that Aron has put into the market, especially with these guys, because keep in mind, there can be all sorts of derivatives and everything else going on behind the scenes. This isn't an ATM that just could be finished up as cleanly as some of these first ones. This one, if you read the details, probably has the ability to haunt us for quite a while. It's out of my wheelhouse, but I know that it gives them an opportunity to have some derivatives and other things hanging around that really cause problems. So again, I'm not making the call that we're going to see AMC hit this 265, but if it happened, I wouldn't be completely shocked. My model, if I were completely flat the stock or wanted to add, would be a buyer here over the next week. So let's assume that irrespective of whether or not the stock moves down to 265 or stabilizes and starts to move up, our first bogey to the upside is this $4.45 hidden retest level. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but believe me, all of the algorithms I'm tracking, I call them wet blankets. It's basically just these algorithmic sell programs that are just sitting there, waiting to strike on at certain price levels when the market lifts its head. I can't see the price levels ahead of time because it's all based on when the algorithm moves to the data moves into certain levels. I'm going to think of it as if you were viewing like a technical indicator. So in other words, I don't know what the price level will be when it moves up into this, what I call the wet blanket, but I do know that it's at fairly low levels. So really our only hope into this February zone of strength of something really big to the upside is to blast through those algorithms, have them caught by surprise from some global macro event. I always hope we can get some kind of negative beta situation where the heavily owned tech stocks and the longs are crushed so severely that portfolio managers are forced to raise liquidity. They get margin called basically. And the big boss would basically tell them that they need to bring in exposure across the board, which would mean sell some of, pare back some of your longs and also cover some of your shorts. So I'm still thinking that's our best opportunity to see a big catalyst. I don't believe the catalyst would be company specific. The only one I could think of that could create a runaway move to the upside, in my opinion, would be Adam Aron stepping down or something else happening to Adam Aron. The guy's not in great shape, so if he had a heart attack or something like that, then I could see the stock, spiking straight up to $13 in an instant, and then from there, who knows? But other than that, I don't see earnings-related news or anything like that being a big catalyst in this stock. It's just, when this was done, when this was done, when this was done, when this was done, and when this was done, that should tell you all you need to know about whether or not we should expect to see some great catalyst that's company specific. I don't think so. Here's the last thing I'll leave with this chart view. If you take a look at where the on-balance volume is during this sort of trading price period right here, you see today 850 million, but it's basically, let's call it 850, 880. It's 850, 860, 870, 880. All right. If we take a look and I snap a horizontal line and we come back to sort of this period right here where the stock was trading at the same level, this is where your on balance volume was. So it was all the way down here in the 100 to 130 million range. So think about that difference, 130 to 100, and even call it 100 and is there 150 here? Yeah, call that 150 compared to 850. Prices at the same level. That's a really good sign. So either a lot of retail buyers are adding here, they're refusing to sell, new buyers are coming in. It's probably a combination of things, but that's a really good sign. This was pretty desperate looking here before Kitty stepped in with his little tweets or whatever he did at that time. The other thing I want to show you guys is if you don't follow, if you're on X, the old Twitter platform, if you're on X and you don't follow our friend AMC HOTC, I suggest you do. He's put out some great videos, basically full-blown documentary series. He just released part 2. But he did this little post today that I thought was really interesting. I'm skipping through about half of it just to drive home. He does a great job of driving home some of the things that Aron and Citi and other people have done. And he's just in this post talking about, people who have been accused of making a bad investment decision and saying that it's your fault. I guess he referenced something that Trey had posted. I guess Trey's come back onto X, and he's just saying, no, look, let's take a look at at really who should be blamed here. So I'll play this real quickly.
Did you know that B. Riley and John Merriweather, and Sean Goodman were emailing each other that they knew the stock price was going to go down? That it was planned? Did you know that they were not on the verge of bankruptcy, even though all the influencers were telling you that they were? Did you know that the vote was rigged? No, it had nothing to do with your investment. Did you know that he was going to come out with APE and present it as some kind of dividend when it wasn't? Did you know about all his past lawsuits with shareholders at the time? Did you know about his connection to Leon Black and possible connections to Jeffrey Epstein in Apollo while they were all in Vail, Colorado? Did you know that he could possibly have been using bots in order to get his message out to people and propagandize the whole message? Did you know that there was collusion between him, Derek Van Zant of Citigroup, and Antara Capital to lower the price of APE so they could sell it at a 20% discount? Did you know all that? No, because it was discovered later on May 20th, 2023. By that time, your investment was ripped in half and then shorted down, with Aron telling everyone counterfeit shares did not exist when there's a multitude of examples, including FTX, the Brazilian depository receipts, and all the FTDs that were at an all-time high at the time, if you remember all that. So how is that the fault of the retail shareholder? They had no control over it. You're right in this sense that they had control over selling their investment, but you're wrong in the fact that he misrepresented himself to retail investors that everything was going to be fine, that the reverse stock split was good for everybody. He did that, not the shareholder. So when Trey Collins comes out of nowhere and starts talking about it's the fault of the person, he's trying to dismiss all the crimes that took place. If there were normal times and our organizations, our federal organizations actually took this seriously, Adam Aron would have already been fired for texting who he thought was a 17-year-old girl that he thought he had a previous relationship, and all the securities fraud that had taken place with Project Popcorn. This is all not the fault of the retail shareholder.
So I thought he did a great job with that. Hopefully you guys could hear that.